The consumer, they call us. We're the people that buy, while everyone else is out to sell some kind of merchandise.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Maritimes Watch, the Maritimes' only dedicated program looking at corruption and the misuse of public resources. Once again, we're going to be looking at New Brunswick and energy issues. The never-ending cavalcade of scams and schemes within New Brunswick's energy sector continues. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the recent letter sent from the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Mike Holland, to the New Brunswick Energy Utilities Board. What this letter said is that the Utilities Board, an independent body, should immediately look at the application made by Irving Oil to increase its profit margin on the sale of wholesale furnace oil and diesel. What we see is that, once again, a private interest in New Brunswick is being promoted by public officials at the detriment of the private citizens. Is this such a bad thing for the minister to support private enterprise? Well, it would be if perhaps we weren't in pandemic times and small businesses are being hurt so much. But what we see is a constant pattern in New Brunswick of one or several major corporations being promoted above all others. So Irving Oil is by far the dominant energy player in New Brunswick. It's how they started their money. It's why they moved to Bermuda. It's so they would be able to increase their profit margins all along. They've never paid their fair share of taxes and revenues in the province, which is well known, and especially in the citizens of St. John know about this. But what we see is that yet again, when Irving wants something, Irving gets what it wants, and it has public officials to do its bidding. So, the essence of this is this application by Irving Oil is looking at increasing by 5.5 cents a liter on every single liter. 5.5 cents on it is going to increase in furnace oil and 6.5 cents on diesel and gasoline. So what we see is a huge increase. This would be actually a 75% increase on the profit margin of Irving Oil to ordinary New Brunswickers. Can we afford this in pandemic times when everybody's hurting? Well, not all of us are hurting, of course. The major corporations have made off quite well for themselves during this time. Their profit margins for most major corporations are actually dramatically increased. No, it's not a bad thing to make money. But it is when it comes at the cost of ordinary New Brunswick citizens, and especially on something critical for public interest like furnace oil. We're facing a cold winter. And what we're going to have is a dramatic increase in furnace oil prices, as demanded by Irving Oil, and which is being promoted by our own minister, a person who was elected to represent public interest. Is he representing public interest? Well, we haven't seen much of that, have we? Over the last several years, we've constantly seen the same pattern by the current Higgs government. They always promote large private interests above public interest. And who in the end is going to pay for this? Well, the cash-strapped New Brunswickers faced once again with a dramatic increase of their basic costs of living. How long can this continue to go on? And at what point do the public say enough is enough? Public officials should be there to act in our interest, not in a corporation's interest. They weren't elected by that corporation. Well, as long as we still maintain that we have a democracy and we're actually electing public officials, then they should be doing our bidding, shouldn't they? So what we've seen is this is another undue advantage by a corporation using the New Brunswick government to dramatically increase their own profits at the detriment of ordinary New Brunswickers. Time for us to put an end to this. Time for us to make public officials do the public interest and not the private. Look forward to seeing a lot more of you in 2021, and until next time.